Evening, everyone. Just going to wait for this to kick in. Big news today all round. Bit of a tale of three cities, but we'll come back to that in a minute. So, I played a little thing the other night, Democracy Manifest, which sort of was a bit of a hit with people. So this is another one of my little favourite. Ganji-san, welcome back, everyone in Melbourne. This is one of my favourite little YouTube clips. It's called Snatch Wars.
Word of this gets out, it could generate sympathy for the rebellion in the Senate.
I don't care if it's Muhammad, Ahmad, Bruce Lee. You can't change fighters.
She'll die before she'll tell you anything.
It can get you in a lot of trouble thinking, Errol. I shouldn't do so much of it.
Lord Vader?
Who the fuck's talking to you, boy?
No transmissions were made. Our escape pod was jettisoned during the fighting. No life forms were aboard.
You're on thin fucking ice, my pedigree chumps. And I shall be under it when it breaks. Now, fuck off.
Amazing. There you go. That's called Snatch Wars. So check it out. So basically, he spoke about transmission. Well, community transmission tonight. We're going to come from Sydney to Melbourne and talk to Jakob from Chapel Tattoo. So it's Tuesday, 27th of July, around 8 p.m. The Tale of Three Cities. Our good friends in Melbourne and South Australia have got released. So I'm sure it's been a mad day for everyone, scrambling, getting back to you probably can't even go back to the shop. But, rebooking things and all that sort of stuff. So hopefully for you all, this is the last one. You guys are undisputed world champions on it. Unfortunately, Sydney's looking down the barrel of a long, cold winter. But that said, just a little bit of info on these IG lives. So since we've been doing them, I did a quick tally up. We've had an easy 70,000 views, which is amazing. So I'd just like to say thanks to everyone that's done that. So they're kind of running on between 5,000 and 7,000 an episode, which is great. So we've had an unknown amount of shares and a remarkable 97% positive comment rate. So keep up the good work, everyone. If you can like it, share it, that sort of thing, it would be really cool. So what I'm going to do now is invite, let me work this out again, invite Jakob in. And tonight's going to be a fun one. We're kind of from a similar era of tattooing, like 90s style. So we'll hear about his apprenticeship and all the rest and more. So, yeah, it's going to be a good one. So we'll see what's going down in old Melbourne town. Jakob.
How's it going?
Good, buddy. Yourself?
Good. Can you hear me all right? Yeah. Sorry, breaking up a bit.
Oh, there you go. Cool. It's a bit hard to hear, but we should be able to work it out. Oh, that's better. Yeah, if you can come a bit closer.
Yeah, a bit closer. Have I got something up my nose? We're good?
Well, mate, I definitely won't show anyone what's up my nose. No, it's good. I'm sure it'll balance out as far as the sound goes.
Cool.
So you can hear me okay?
I can hear you good now. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So just for everyone out there in TV land, can they hear everything fine? Sure, that's a yes. Oh, Damon said you did your hair.
I sure did.
All right, mate. All right. So like I mentioned before, we come from like a similar era, like 90s style tattooing. So
yeah.
Who actually did your first tattoo for you?
My brother. Yeah, my brother, who I did my apprenticeship under.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I was kind of I was kind of in the shop anyway, just hanging around, because it was a pretty fun place to be back then. It was tattoo shops were a bit different, I was 17, 18 years old, and it was more like, the old, when you see on the movies, like the barber shops, it was just because there was always, they was very seasonal. So in winter, you'd just hang out, the locals would come in and I was kind of hanging out and I got tattooed, and then I kind of started, I was just kind of working the counter and did the usual 90s thing of doing body piercing.
Yep. And where was that? Was that down Dandenong?
Yeah. That was way cool. Yeah,
cool. So was that your brother's shop?
Yeah, my brother bought it off a guy. So that, I don't know, do you remember because you were from Melbourne too.
Yeah. I'm from like Reservoir, Moonee Ponds, Brunswick area.
Yeah. So Dandenong had like 3 tattoo shops.
Yep.
All within like 300 meters of each other's, which was pretty rare back then, you know.
Yep.
And yeah, there was a real interesting story because it was originally the Australian Tattoo Company were there.
Yep. And it was Colin Crans, I think.
And Colin Creed, yeah.
Colin Creed, yep.
Back in the day as well. And then they moved around the corner to a bigger shop, and then these 2 guys, Greg and Lewis, opened up
the brothers
premises. No, yeah, they weren't brothers, but
okay, yep.
Yeah, they opened up in their old spot, and that caused a lot of bad blood.
Yep.
And then and then they had a fight, and then one of them opened up again around the corner, like, I'm going to put you out of business. And yeah, so it was it was
awesome.
Pretty, yeah. It was a lot of tension, but it sort of eased up a little bit, you know. But my brother took it over later on, you know. Yeah,
cool. Yeah, and mate, like I remember, you know, you back in, like I started tattooing probably like 1990, and you know there weren't that many shops. You had Inky Ricks in Thornbury, the Gowers had one at Vic Market, you know, Flinders Street. There weren't that many. I think the closest one to you guys might have been maybe Devo at Mentone, or
Trevor was in Baronia.
Yep, Trevor was in Baronia, and then Body Language.
Yep. And there was also some Full Bore in Noble Park.
That's right. Yeah, Adam Brill. Yeah, I got tattooed by Adam. That's after he left, I think, Body Language.
Yeah, I think he might have shown my brother how to make a Magnum.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Man, I remember going to the Full Bore Christmas party, I think before I went overseas, it might have been 1994, and it was just a classic tattoo shop Christmas party at the time. About 20, 30 dudes, mad mullets, flannel shirts, moccos, Toradas, Monaros out the front, playing music, cartons of VB everywhere, and then just get the strippers in. You know, just go like, okay, this is tattooing.
Yeah, it's weird, man. Like when I kind of wasn't really even into tattooing when I started hanging around in the shop. I thought it was a bit like, you know, I was into weird stuff, and I thought skulls and that were a bit lame, you know, because I was 17 and was into, you know, whatever. So it took me a while to kind of come around to all that. You know, it was actually seeing like, you know, I wasn't into like the classic sort of tattoo stuff originally, you know. Yeah, that took a while.
Yeah, cool. So who were you working with at the time down there?
So that was, so with my brother. And then
is he still tattooing?
Yeah, we haven't spoken for a long time, you know, what families like, but but all, you know, whatever that beside us, like all props to him. Like he was a good, especially back in the day, really good tattooer, solid tattooer. And also had all the, like when I did my apprenticeship with him, did it all properly as far as like, it wasn't harsh, you know, it wasn't like beaten or anything like that, but it was like, you know, learn to tune machines and make needles properly and make inks and all that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, I think it was definitely an era where, you know, everything was step by step. You know, you would learn this, you would learn that. And like, you know, when we were talking on the phone before, like going, you know, it took you 4 years to learn of a long taper needle. You know, everything was done with like 12 sharps.
Yeah, that's right.
Know?
Yeah,
which to people out there now is like a medium taper or like a bullet tip needle.
It's really hard to make a clean line. Like, we remember doing those old like Cherry Creek designs on like an old mum's like tummy or something like that. With like an old like Brett Stewart machine or something. It was like pretty hard. Like
mate, it's crazy to think of all the trends, man. Like daisies and dolphins around belly buttons, all that sort of stuff, and tribal sun. You know, it's funny how everything sort of shifts. Like,
you know, I'm sure. Though, huh?
Yeah, totally. But I'm sure you're the same, mate. You're responsible for hundreds, if not thousands, of, you know, tramp stamps and armbands and all the rest of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Did like all those lower back ones, you know, man, I've done so many of them. Yeah.
I got something on my lower back, like reworked a while ago, and I was like, fucking hell, that hurts. You know,
bad, I don't know.
Yeah, you forget about it.
Yeah.
So what was sort of like the clientele back then? Because you were there for what, roughly around 5 years?
Well, yeah, 6 years pretty much. Like, so I was there from like 97. I probably started around 98 till 2003 when I went to Chapel. But it was like, you only did walk-ins, you know, you didn't do custom tattoos. I mean, maybe you added a name to something or or you put some different colours in, or something like that. But everything was done on the spot. You'd work late on the Thursday, Friday nights. We had a pub like 2 doors down, so everyone would come in from down there and get the tattoos late at night, and that was it. It was just, I don't know, a lot of people that, it's a completely different. Like a lot, I think it was maybe not that nice a place to walk into.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, I used to always say, like, walking into a tattoo shop back in the day was like walking into like the roughest pub in town. Like, you didn't know if you were going to get welcomed or get told to fuck off or get stared down. And mate, I'm just here, mister. I just want to spend some money and get a tattoo.
It wasn't. Luckily, Way Cool wasn't that. Like, it wasn't that. It used to be, but we got a lot. When my brother took it over, we got a little bit friendlier. But it was definitely like a lot of blue humor. Like it was.
Yeah. But Dandenong, like a real working class area.
And also, like in the late '90s, early, like massive like heroin problem and stuff there. Like it was wild, Like
totally.
It's crazy to think. I mean, I'm sure it was like that where you were too, but hard to think that was real. What was going on there,
Yeah.
Like
oh, mate, it's crazy, mate. I remember working in Brunswick with this guy called Dean from New Zealand, and like I'm tattooing away on late at night with him. He's tattooing another guy. The guy goes, "Hey, where's Dean? He's been gone for a while." And I'm thinking, I don't know, he's probably gone to the toilet. He goes, "Yeah, that was like 35 minutes ago." So I go out there and like bang on the door. Dean, you in there? I just hear this moaning. And so I kicked the door open and he's in there and just had a massive shot of heroin and he's just on the knot in there. Yeah. I'm like, come on, mate, get your back together and your customers out here. And like, you got to get the job done, And then afterwards, I'm like 19 trying to talk to this 30-year-old man. He's like, mate, you won't understand. I'm like, hopefully not. But a different era.
Yeah, you couldn't walk down it was weird. It was fucking weird there. But you couldn't walk down the street. Sometimes you'd pull your car up, like especially like between Springvale and that, like people would be knocking on your windows asking you if it was crazy. Yeah,
madness.
Weird.
So with that time at Way Cool, I know quite a few other good tattooers have come through there or hung out there. I know Rob Abel was there, or Evan Griffiths.
Jake Fraser.
Yep.
Scotty Allsop. Came out of there. Rudin, Rashid. Yeah, like I feel like it's a real good shop to cut your teeth in, because you got to do a lot of walk-ins. The quality was good. Like my brother was a really good, like solid all-round tattooer. So you could learn. He could do like that was the thing, because back then, as we were talking about before, you didn't really have a style, So someone might come in from the pub and they'd want like a fucking Geiger thing done then and there, and he'd just freehand it on and do it, and then do a realistic tiger, and then do a tribal or whatever. Like it was just like you just did it then and there.
It was a different skill set, and like I know myself. Like now, I do predominantly Japanese, and you couldn't give it away in the '90s. Like
traditional,
mate, people just go, "What do you want that Jap shit for?" So it's it's changed, and even then, like traditional as we know it now didn't even exist.
Absolutely not. No.
So
so it's good the way it's changed now.
100%. So talk to us about what was, apart from maybe a family feud, what brought on the move to Chapel?
Oh no, that wasn't that. Yeah, that came later. I was on. Anyway, we won't go too much into that, but I was getting tattooed off Jane and Andrew.
Cool.
Did a tattoo on Andrew, and I always looked up. There was them, from where I was from, a young tattooer. There was like Chapel Tattoo and Tattoo Magic, like Geordie Cole was like,
the big shops.
Yeah. And so, but I really liked the thing that, like, I kind of liked the more traditional sort of looking folky stuff that they did at Chapel. So I got tattooed there, and then I did a tattoo on Andrew, which was really cool.
Nice.
Back then, and then they rang me up not that much later and said that I want to work, and I was like, So that was 2003, and I've pretty much been there ever since. I left for a little bit, but
So did you move from Dandenong that time and move up towards the city, or?
I was already living up that way. I think I was living in Richmond at the time. So
cool. Yeah, nice. So who would have been there when you first went to Chapel? Like Jane, Andrew, was Smear still around, or he?
Yeah, Smear was there. Kate was there. I think because a few of because they were all from Highline. There was Smear and Benny, who I think ended up working with Josh.
Yes, correct. Yep.
Where was Rob was working at Way Cool. I think then he'd just come back from somewhere. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah. So there was just Jane, Andrew. I think Costa had left.
Yeah.
And Smear. I think that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Daz was working the counter.
Yeah, cool. Because Chapel sort of like I was trying to work it out on the phone. Like I come down there and I must have got tattooed there in, I reckon, early to mid 2000s from Andrew.
Yeah,
I think I'd just come back from overseas, and I was working up at Skin Effects on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
But Chapel sort of, like when you look at like longevities of shops, it's had like, you know, a stellar time in the sun. It's been there and it's never really faltered. It's so many good artists have come through there and gone on to do great things.
That's the owners. Like they really, they haven't sort of gone into that. Just like they still push themselves. You know, Jane still is so incredibly hard on herself still. You know, and they also just encourage young tattooers. You know, and they try and just push that. So I think that's why they try and keep fresh. Yeah, they got to. Yeah,
cool. So say when you came up to start working at Chapel, like, were you starting to go directional wise in a style, or?
I don't know. Like I just liked so much stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, the thing was, I did like sort of traditional stuff and wanted to be around that and kind of learn a little bit more. But then at the same time, you're working with people that are really good at it, so you sort of, you're not going to get as much of that. You know what I mean? Like, so I could do some black and grey. I could kind of do whatever from working with my brother at Way Cool. So, but yeah, I think like I did get more influence from those guys than anyone, you know. So it's like they just rub off on you just when you're working with people. It's going to, you know.
Yeah, I think being in the trenches and just seeing it on a daily basis. I think you've got, if you've got an open mind, you've got no choice but to be influenced from it and try little bits and pieces. And I know, you know, Chapel's always had like a killer rotation of guest artists that come through as well, which is like another big thing. So we when we were on the phone as well, I said, like, you know, I look at your work and you're pretty much like an all-rounder as well now, which obviously comes from that street shop background.
Yep, 100%. We're just like, you know, and just, I don't know, it's like, it's probably not a good thing. Like, you know, I think a lot of people now, if you start tattooing, you kind of have a thing you want to do, and you can market it a lot easier. I didn't, you know, obviously I wasn't doing that when I started tattooing. I liked so many different things, but I never really kind of honed in on one style. I feel like, you know, like I try and blend them a little bit, but like it's it's sort of jack of all trades, master and
mate. You know? No, I like it. Like for me, you know, I'm gladly in the pigeonhole I'm in, but you know, like I still do walk-ins when they come in the shop, and like, you know, just before we got locked down, we had a bunch of young kids come in from Byron Bay, all wanting to get little walk-in stuff, and I said to counter, you want to check ID for these kids, like, you know, and then you realise, man, I'm getting old now, you know, I'm starting to go this, but they're all 18, they're down and having fun. But it was so nice to just bang out little bangers on them, have that quick banter with them. Where you from? What are you doing? What club are you going to? All this sort of stuff. Send them on some bum steers and, you know, have a chuckle to myself and, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a service industry, you know, so like,
you
know, you don't, even though you probably don't get it as much in the custom shops as much as like a street shop, it still is fun every now and then, but like, you know, doing it, I'm glad I don't have to do it every day like that.
No, of course. It's nice to revisit it.
Yeah. Just like be a tourist to it.
Yeah, totally. So with that, like, who influenced you as far as like your own tattoo collection? Like, what's some of the stuff you've got on you, and who's done it?
I've got a heap of obviously all the guys I work with. You know, I just started getting tattooed again after like a massive break. I got something off Jolie. And
Yep.
Ado on my, because I had like, man, almost like 10 years I hadn't been tattooed. And I was just like, I've got to.
Mate, it's a wake up call, isn't it?
Yeah, it was actually all right. It was all right. I thought it was going to be heaps worse. But it was good to get back in it. And like,
Yep.
yeah. But yeah, you know, obviously Andrew, Jane, I got my arm done by Tim Hoyer.
Yeah, cool. Wow.
Yeah,
Well, obviously going overseas for that?
Yeah, that was in 2008.
Yeah, mad. So what was that, a couple of trips?
No, I just went once. Like, he was really cool. I just wanted a tiger. It was because I didn't actually speak to him, like, personally. I spoke with John, and he was like, oh, do you want a little bit of background? I didn't want, like, a full, you know, thing. Like, I just had a bit of space. I was thinking maybe a couple of flowers behind it or something. And then I came in and he'd drawn up, like, a full, like, you know, with all the background and whatnot. And I was like, oh, fuck, I don't think I had enough money for it. And I wasn't planning on that. And I was leaving, like, the next day. But he was like, oh, it's cool. Like, it's cool. I'll look after you. Just he was super cool. So he just did that for me, and had a good price and was really nice. He's a really nice guy. Yeah,
mate. Yeah, he's been phenomenal for tattooing.
Yeah.
So how's Ado going? Like, I know Ado from the Gold Coast.
Yeah, I was going to say,
many years ago.
Up there?
Yep. And then he worked for a good mate of mine, Lal Hardy, in the UK.
Oh, yeah.
And he's been in and out of Sydney over the years, and we all went out and asked him about the story when we went and visited Greg Ardren, for the first time. Like, he had the best comments. It was awesome, man. Like, you know, just so cool to meet an old timer, you know, and it was the first time we'd been there. And sorry?
You can't repeat it on here.
Yeah, I can actually. Like, so we're all in the car, right? We're cruising around and we're going up to Greg's joint in East Hills, and it's like a proper old school working class neighborhood. Yeah. We come around the corner and there's this big double brick like wog mansion with all the bricks out the front, and I think a couple of lions and all that. And Ado goes, oh man, looks like Greg's done well for himself, right? And then we check the letterbox and we go to the house next door. And there's literally like, it might as well been a burnt out car in the front yard. Like, the fence is all broken down, like, you know, next to the train tracks. But mate, that was such a mad house. Like, it was the best, man. It was like, he had his tattoo room out the back. It was just a full museum. It was just a wild house, man. And it was amazing. But no, we had a good time with Ado there. It was cool.
Yeah, he's done good. He's bought into the business now. So
nice.
He's my boss now.
Oh, mate. Well, you know, you've got to hit him straight up for a pay rise after this promo event tonight.
I just mentioned his name. I'm good. No, they look after me. It's all right. I won't push it. What did
he tattoo on you?
He did a Jesus on my sternum. Man,
nice.
Man, he's painless. Like, it was
good.
Yeah, really good. So now I'm not that nice to people when they're getting their sternum tattooed, you know? I'm like,
yeah, mate. I think every time a tattooer does get tattooed, you're kind of a little bit more conscious to your clients afterwards. So yeah. What are you using now, like, equipment wise? Like, because obviously you've come through the whole era of mixing ink, making needles, all that stuff.
Yeah. So I'm pretty much just like, it's funny. Yeah, I did all that stuff, and now it's irrelevant to me. I'm just using direct drives. But this funny thing did happen. I almost stopped using mags. I was having I didn't know what was going on, and I was like tattooing, and like, I just found like rounds a little bit easier to use and to get into the corners and to do everything. And turned out like that I couldn't see properly, and so I'd been tattooing like for like 3 years, like really sort of struggling, but because it happened so
slowly.
Yeah. I wasn't like fully aware of it till one day my missus asked me to pull a splinter out of her finger, and I was like, oh fuck. So then when I got glasses, so now I've started using magnums again. It's pretty good. Yeah.
Mate, it happens. It's a sign of aging gracefully.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You know, but I think that generally happens to most guys. Or they reckon it's around the 40s or something.
Yeah.
And I think for us it's probably earlier, because, you know, we're under the microscope so much, sort of thing. So, you know.
Yeah, that's been a whole new thing, you know. I was almost like dreading doing outlines after 3 o'clock and stuff. And I didn't know what was going wrong with me. I thought I was having some late onset ADD fucking thing or something, because I was like, I couldn't focus. I was like, but I was like, I felt tired, you know, like I was like, I don't know what's going on. yeah, just getting my fucking eyes checked. So yeah.
No,
get your
crazy.
eyes
What
checked.
are
If
you
anyone's
using?
having
You
that.
using? Sorry, mate. Are you using disposable tubes or steel tubes still?
I use steel tubes with the disposable tips.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, that's cool. They make the tubes are real easy to clean when you have to clean the tips and.
Yeah. What and direct drives are so easy to tune.
Man, they're pain. Like I reckon they hurt less. You know.
Yeah,
like,
true. I've actually just gone back to mixing in between. Like I used swash drives for probably 12 years straight, and I've only just started using coils again. But mate, I got weak wrists these days, so I can't do a long time on the coils.
And they're noisy too, man. Like.
Oh yeah. It's pretty brutal. What needles you use, and what's your favourite needle groups, if you don't mind us asking?
I don't use anything too big with my lines, you know. Maybe every now and then I'll use a 10 liner. Usually, I use like 6 liners a lot. I don't go super huge anymore. I like the look of it. I feel like as I used to like really bold kind of stuff, but then you see it 10 years down the track, and you're like, holy, oof. It doesn't you don't really you know like it looks good for a few years, like, but some stuff it works really well. Like I think like big tribal and whatnot, like if it's super open and there's a lot of negative space, it's pretty good. But like
that's the thing. Like you're talking to a lot of the old boys, like, you know, what is considered a traditional tattoo now, like the equipment the guys were using, or the needle groups they were using back in the end, was probably the equivalent of like a 5 needle liner with 12 sharps, you know, where now you're using 9s, 11s, 14s, that sort of thing. So
a 12 sharp 5 liner, if it wasn't salt, you know, like, was pretty big anyway.
It was hard to get into a point. So you know, brutal stuff.
Fold it and it would all like kind of like flip, like, you know, go like that. Yeah.
Well, mate, my favourite needle for years was like a 4 liner. You know, in a diamond tip tube. They were good. Yeah, but what about when we first found out about those things, the bug pins?
Man, game changer. Well, long tapered needles. Like I think I was talking. Yeah, it's like maybe 3 years tattooing. Someone put us on to long tapered lines or long tapered needles, and it was like, oh my god! Like all of a sudden, it was like so forgiving, you know. The other thing that I learned was like not putting as much tension on the back spring, you know, because the Aussie style like machine tuning was real, like heaps high volts, heaps of tension, like super fast. But that was also because a little bit of it, because you're doing walk, you have to tattoo fast. It wasn't, you know, like it was more about, that was it. And that took me a little while to sort of get over. Even when I went to chapel and stuff like that, like there was a little bit of a time when I was kind of known for tattooing fast. And I had to sort of like, I think it was actually maybe Geordie that was like, you know, it's there forever, you know, you don't. You know? And that's true. So it's like getting out of that, just that mindset. Like sometimes it's weird. You get taught things, and then you just accept it as being true or whatever. And then and you don't fucking rethink it or whatever. And then you're like, oh yeah, maybe that's not right. And then you obviously rework it. And you're not just trying to pump them out as quick as possible. Like, although that's kind of, I don't know. Actually, I don't think it's good at all to do that.
No, it wasn't. But that was, you know, that culture of tattooing doesn't really exist now. You know, that was the majority of the tattoo culture back then. You know, like, and it was that thing. Like, I remember working with a guy, and he goes, you know, I was like 22, and he's like, "What are you using a fucking foot switch for?" And I'm like, "What else am I supposed to use?" And he's like, "No, mate, I'm going to hardwire it for you," because he's gone, "You'll get 2 extra tattoos a day out of that by not fucking around on your foot switch." Like, oh, okay, all right. And he wasn't really the guy that you were going to like argue with, so you just did it. You know.
Yeah, I stopped using the foot switch for a different reason, because like fucking after many years of using them, like my hips like are out of the line. Like one's 6 inches higher than the other. Like, it's crazy. Yeah,
well, probably because your wallet was that fat.
Yeah, nah, not really. It all went quickly, man. Yeah, I wish. Yeah.
But MJ Forrest has just gone, everyone thinks trad was bold back in the day, but it wasn't. And it may very well just blow out in the future. But, you know, but that's all the trial and error, and that's the thing. And that's a classic thing as well. Like, you know, even probably when we were younger and trying to push the boundary, you think you know better. And sometimes the younger generation doesn't listen to the older generation. They've just got to find it out for themselves.
Yeah, and vice versa too. You know, I
Yeah.
think, like, you know, I'm learning more from the young guys I work with, and you know,
Yep.
like every day. Like, it's I think, yeah, I think. It's the other thing that's funny about that too is like you listen to people and you, like we were saying, like you have like someone will tell you, oh, you've got to use this ink or you use
Yep.
this, and you just have it in your head and you think, oh yeah, that's right, and then you realize at some point you're like, I've been tattooing longer than the person that they had been when they told me that, and I think maybe they were full of shit, you know?
Yep. Yeah. Like plenty of people send you on a bum steer back in the day because they'd see you as competition or something like that.
Or
Like,
maybe they thought it was right, you know, like, and it was.
Yeah, true. And yeah, they've never been exposed to the basics of progression.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's funny. So what would be like, you go back to work, not tomorrow because that's your day off, is that correct?
Yes, I'll be going in, just to sort of get on top of everything and obviously say hello to everyone because I miss their faces, and you know, like just organise the bookings for the rest of the week. It'll be good to go back in, that's for sure.
Yeah. Can you give us a little bit of an idea of like what your structured week goes like when you're in full swing? Like how many days a week you're tattooing, like roughly appointments, that sort of thing, and a mix of the styles?
Yeah. So because I've been at Chapel for a long time, they're pretty lenient with me. I generally, I don't come and go as I please, but I work there 3 days, like officially 3 days a week. I'm on the books. That's when like the guys can book me in, but I'm usually there like around, and I'll work like if they need me to. Because I've got like a room upstairs now, and so I can do some little paintings in there, which is nice because I did have a room here where I was working out of, but my girlfriend took that over when her business collapsed during the last one. You know, she had to kind of, you know, anyway. So it's good when she's working here. I can go to the shop and you know, just potter around. I'll do a bit. So I'm there most days, but like generally, I'm for bookings like Monday, Tuesday, and alternating Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, cool, nice. And like, are they like you're doing like big projects, smaller one shots, like a general mix?
I've got just old, you know, like I've got pretty loyal clients, and
amazing.
Tattoo, and just I think that's one of the good things about tattooing for so long. I do have just regulars. I don't, you know, a lot of the other guys have to use Instagram or whatever, but I'm not very good at that stuff. So
but word of mouth and all that sort of stuff. Same like when you've been around long enough, and you know you have a good rapport. Like I imagine, you know, you have a good time with your customers as well, and you have a good laugh and a banter and a joke and you know all that sort of stuff.
I still believe in like the idea that if you do a nice tattoo on someone, you don't butcher them, you don't put them through heaps of pain, you know, they leave pretty happy. You'll get more work maybe from someone like telling all their family and stuff like that. Like I feel like you get a lot of repeat business just through that, and I still believe in that, like that sort of thing. I don't think you necessarily have to be like huge on Instagram or whatever to still be booked out.
Yeah, for sure. And like you were saying before, you know, it is a service industry. Like, you know, unfortunately, mid-timers, even young-timers and old-timers, they can get a bit burnt out on the people aspect. And but man, you've chosen the wrong trade. You know, like you've got to be good to people. You've got to be nice to them. And if you don't find it natural to be nice, you're fucked. You know? Because and that's the thing, like you can build a loyal clientele by just being a decent human.
Yeah, I believe that. You know, I think like a lot of people want to walk out smiling, you know, like obviously can't do shitty tattoos. Like
for sure. Yeah, but the same thing, like whether someone's getting a little one-shot piece or a sleeve, when they look in the mirror or they leave the shop, they feel wrapped. They feel the same. They've got the level of whatever gratitude is the exact same. There's no just because it's bigger or smaller, it doesn't have any less or more value.
No. Yeah. You got to, you know, treat them. Yeah, it's good. You know, that's also, you can't, like, I don't know. I think maybe I'm probably maybe in a privileged position to be able to do that. And, you know, like I'm not overworked and under the pump too much. You know, that I still I'm okay with clients. I haven't, you know, like I have gone through phases before where I was maybe putting too much on my plate with it and getting just a bit, you know, not enjoy. You know, you might be doing really good work, but maybe not enjoying it as much. You know. Now I'm older. I work a bit slower, so it's fine.
Yeah, I think I'd say the same thing for myself. Like, you know, but you have to go through all of that to actually realize it and you know, and make those adjustments and, you know, all that sort of stuff. So
I think when you're young though, like you got that, you're full of, you can do it anyway. You've got the energy. I think that's the time to do it. You know, when you're in your 20s, you can push it really hard and work 7 days a week and do whatever. You know, you're not going to feel it as much. You know, so that's the time to do it. Yeah,
it definitely you know, kicks in later in life. So let's talk a little bit about like your painting and that sort of stuff. Like, because you're doing such you know, amazing stuff and unique stuff going on. Obviously there's, you know, tattoo imagery, religious imagery, that sort of stuff. Like, how did all this kick off, and were you painting younger in life?
I did. Like, I enjoyed painting when I was little and younger, you know, but I didn't. It was just like a bit of a hobby or whatever. It still is, you know. I don't really know what I'm doing or whatever. But I just a few years ago, I probably started doing them a bit more serious. A few years ago, Maddie came and stayed with me, and we were doing it was over the Christmas break. We got a couple of big canvases and started painting, and I was thinking, like, I just wanted to make some paintings to put up in my house, you know. I was like, because I couldn't really afford like the big stuff that I liked, so I thought I'll just do it. And I think because that was the intention, I just did what I wanted to look at. And then I post a couple, and people tend to like them and that, and that's how it came about. But I just really enjoy doing it, you know. It's fun,
mate.
You know?
But with that, like, what was the progress? Because now you're doing quite bigger pieces as well as smaller ones. Fuck, I'll find the one that I got off you the other day. I've got it somewhere in this mess. What I might do in a minute is when you're talking about or showing us some painting, I'm going to go and grab it and do the unveiling of it. But so were you doing a lot of smaller stuff, and then the natural progression, probably like tattoos, is to get bigger?
I started doing big ones just because I wanted to have big ones to hang up. You know? And then I started doing the smaller ones actually when I wanted to mess around with oil paints. And it was actually Heath Knock sort of he was really cool. He gave me a little bit of advice. Like, he's like, give me a call. And he told me how to use them, you know, like, because there's a little bit of, it's not that intense, like, but it's just a few tricks involved. And he gave me a little bit of a 1-2 on it. And and then sorry, I lost my train of thought. So that's when the little ones came in, because I was wanting to do, like, before, because I didn't quite have the hang of the medium, so I was like doing little ones as well, because you can just fuck around and they're just, you know, and then apply it to something bigger, you know. But it's just trying to like experiment and have fun with it, you know.
Yeah, cool. Because everyone, like, mate, you know, like, my dream later on in life is, you know, to be doing paintings as well, but probably more, you know, the Asian style thing, you know, watercolor, whatever. But with your stuff, like doing oils is kind of seen, or for, you know, someone that hasn't been to art school or in the know, seems to be like the holy grail of painting. Was that where he sort of maybe helped you out a bit with that info?
He just demystified it, you know. He was like, he goes, I don't know why people make it out to be way more complex than what it is, you know. And you know, I think it's a bit of that sort of fucking Jedi mind trick bullshit. Like, people do try and make it seem like a lot harder than what it is. And actually, Joel Melrose helped me out a bit too, because he did like an oil painting course, and, you know, he does some cool stuff. But he gave me a few tips as well, and that kind of put me on it. It's just, I think the colors are a lot rich. You know, you don't have to. You can get like acrylic paints to look as rich as oils, but it just takes a little bit more work. You know, you have to build them up a bit more. But with the oil paints, it's just getting the hang of it. You know, like they can do a lot, but like when you're fucking around with them, you want to stick a pencil in your eye. Like, if you don't know what you're doing, it's a bit like they're real weird and mushy. But now I'm sort of getting the hang of it. It's getting a little bit easier. I'm having more fun.
Yeah, cool. Because there's that misconception that they take a long time to dry, but he said there's some little tricks and stuff you can use.
Yeah, and different mediums and whatnot that you use, or not using too much at once. You know, like building it up a little bit slower and whatnot. But yeah, it's just you just got to do it. You know, like don't be scared of them. You know, that's the thing. Just and that's why the little ones come in handy. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Like,
cool, mate. I'm gonna run downstairs and grab
cool.
that paint. Can you just give people a quick
like
little
walk through?
Huh?
A walkthrough? I don't have
a walkthrough. No, a walkthrough of the painting you got going on there. And apparently some cool dude from Sydney bought it from you. Is that correct?
You got it from me. Yeah, you got it. I think MJ's going to be jealous. He wrote here that
yeah, he's going to knock me out.
Yeah, good luck, huh?
Oh mate, yeah. Young bull versus old old bull versus young fox. However it goes. I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, cool. Fuck. Ah, shit. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. Fuck. Hopefully it doesn't take too long.
There you go. You didn't get too nervous on your own?
A little bit.
Oh, mate, yeah, that's all right. I'm back in the room.
Then, I couldn't work my phone. Couldn't figure it out. So that was, what do they call that? Dead air.
Call it what?
Dead air, if it was radio.
Dead air. Oh, mate, but it builds suspense.
Hopefully.
So this is the one I got in the mail, which is, amazing piece.
Thanks, man.
Oh, I'm not as fit as I thought I was. I've done a lot of stairs, one of the two.
Yeah.
So here's a cool stuff. So people want to get some artwork from you. What's the best way? To just wait for you to drop it online, or
pretty much,
are you doing commissions?
No. I tried to do a couple of commissions, but it just felt like work, you know. So it's weird because when I'm painting, I just want to just do it. And sometimes like I'll start one, and then I put it away for 6 months or something, you know. I don't I don't really have a plan when I'm doing it. I think that's come from tattooing, you know, because not that I don't have a plan when I'm tattooing, but tattooing was like so restrictive, you know. And really sort of you're doing stuff to order, and you've got to be like so you've always got someone in your head, you know. So for me, painting is just like it's just fun. You just fuck around, and if it sucks, it sucks. There's no repercussions, you know. It's fine. Of course.
Heath was saying, I don't know if you found the same way, but have you felt like the work structure of tattooing helped with your painting? Yeah,
I think in the sense of like when you're painting, like the paintings don't freak out, like they don't have bad skin. They're like, you can work on them for 12 hours or whatever. It's fine, you know. And you can just get lost, and they don't talk and check their phone or whatever. So you can just do your thing. So it's easier to get into the sort of into the flow of it.
Yep.
You know, and also just I think from tattooing and having to, you go to work whether you're feeling good or not. You know, and you can do it. So you can just sit down and just start painting. Like it's I think that's one of the good things about that tattooing has helped with. Also all the imagery and everything too.
Yeah, just the back catalogue from years and years of tattooing and being submerged in all these different images.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm more into tattooing than painters, you know. Like that's I don't really know much about painting. Like
I think you're being pretty humble there, mate. Like it's a hot word on the street, mate, is getting in quick before you become too famous. So just quickly, I was probably running, I'm not sure if you said, but say for example, like how long would a painting behind have taken you to do?
It's hard to, I don't have sounds weird, but I don't really know what I'm doing. Like, so I don't have a proper, I don't sit down with a plan and go, I'm going to do this. So sometimes I'll start like a bit of a painting, and then it'll just sit there for a bit, and I like to work on maybe, 5 at a time, and cool. So that way, if I get bored of one thing, sometimes you're in the mood to paint like all sweetly. So I'll do like a nice little bit in the corner of one, but then you get you want to, the next day you might want to just like be a bit more whatever, just have a different feeling in it. So maybe I'll work on another one, and they just sort of eventually they just finish, But I don't. Nice. So sometimes I'll finish one in a weekend, but sometimes like I had one that's hanging in in my room at work, a real big one that was like maybe a year, you know. But I didn't work on it solidly for a year. Like I just put it away for a bit and pull it out and work on
nice.
it. Yeah.
No, that's cool. Like I know for that one behind, like we chatted before, and I was like, all right, just keeping my eye out, and like that resonated to me because one of my favorite back pieces I've done like years and years ago is of a big tiger in that same pose.
It's a classic tattoo pose, yeah.
Yeah. And I've got like loads of Tibetan flags in the shop, and I've been to Nepal multiple times. So it's like just resonated to me. It's like, man, it's talking to me. So
thanks. Yeah. I mean, like I'm not doing anything that like Ed Hardy hasn't done, you know, like mixing up just those sort of images, putting them together, you know, like you know, so it's not really anything new, you know. Yeah,
but just saying that anyway. I was talking with MJ, and like it seems to be like some of the crew at Chapel or you've kind of got something special going on as opposed to other tattoo studios. There seems to be quite a few artists there like doing art for art's sake, not like churning out prints or merch and all that sort of stuff. So can 100%. You talk us through that a little bit, please?
So it's like I was saying before, it's a real good shop like that. Like, you know, Andrew's doing these really cool cutouts, like, and painting them, and Jane's making these, like, she's so good, but you can't give her a compliment, she'll never take it. But like, she does these sort of like quilt kind of things, you know, they're like you know, like folk style art. She's actually been a massive influence on me, because like folk art is kind of like what I really like, you know. And Joel's also doing, like, he does a lot of really crazy, weird stuff, you know, like he's got a couple of different things that he does. Gore, of course, does a heap of painting. So it's a real cool place. Like Nick does his like fucking it's, as far as like everyone's like pumping stuff out. It's a real good place to work. Even like that's the thing about like the lockdowns. It's good. Like I can be here and focus and do the work, but I find after a little while, like that's one of the good things about working there. Just to go in there, bounce ideas off them. Even with tattooing, like they're real good. If you ask them about a design, like, oh, hey, what do you think of this? Like, actually, they'll actually tell you, like, I think that sucks, or you know, you should try this, or not just, oh yeah, that's cool, you know, like. So it's really good in that sense. Like that's helped me a lot. Probably that's working at Chapel's probably been the biggest influence on all my painting and stuff than anything.
Yeah, amazing. It seems to be like it's obviously a real close-knit family sort of style shop, and it's great to see.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. And they sort of, you know, they encourage it, you know.
Yeah, amazing. Hey, on a different note, what do you reckon my chances are of ever getting Jane or Andrew on here? I know the answer.
Well, maybe, you know, like it was like hard for me. Like even I was real nervous too. Like I don't know. I never took photos of myself and stuff, you know. And like they're even more low profile than me. Like as far as that goes, they might, you know.
No, you can only ask. You can only ask.
It'd be a great chat if you could.
Yeah, totally. So no, but on a different note, I do appreciate you doing this. I've been trying to reach out to all sorts of different people, and especially when Melbourne went down into lockdown again, I was trying to get some Melbourners on, and you know, just sort of branch it out from there.
Rob would be a good guy to talk to as well.
Yeah, Rob's on the horizon, mate. Rob's on the horizon. Rob's tattooed me a few times, and I used to do a lot of guest spots at Dynamic, and you know, Trevor's done my back and a lot of work on me. So I'd always, I've known Rob for years, and he's good value.
Man, he's like, he pumps them out, man. Like,
mate, I got one recently, but I worked at Tattoo Dharma, and when Tattoo Dharma got firebombed, I think 2010, like in some of the stuff that was getting thrown out, there was like a little Rob Abel koi from 2005 that had like smoke and water damage, and I grabbed it and kept it. So I reckon I've got about 8 to 10 paintings at Rob's from over the years, and he's definitely a favourite.
Yeah, he's real good. And do you know Danny and Donnie from Frankston Tattoo? Do you know those guys?
I know of them. I know of them. I think I've met Danny. I don't think I've ever met Donnie before, but I know of them for sure.
They'd be a good chat.
Yeah. Well, didn't Danny and Jane, they did the book on Johnny Entwistle all those years ago?
Man, how cool was that? We were talking about that on the phone. Like, and what a great, like, it's sort of like made everyone realise how awesome Johnny was.
How incredibly important he is.
And he's just there, you know. You can go and get tattooed off him any day. Me and Andrew got tattooed. We weighed work one day and went down and got tattooed off him. It was so funny. This was years ago, yeah. And Andrew got a ship on the back of his leg. He wanted to get something else done, and Johnny's like, "No, we'll do a ship." And he had to like stand up and like put his leg back on a bench like that and get this thing done on the back of his head. But it was a great day, you know. Like he put on some country music for us, and man, you should get tattooed by him definitely.
Yeah, he's on my list. But like Johnny, man, you know, roll up his cigarettes, offer everyone a cup of tea, like the absolute gentleman.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to think who was saying to me the other day, but he's got, like, I used to go and buy flash off him. Like, my upper arms are like JD Crow, like tattoo brand flash.
Man,
so I used to go, I used to go down and buy a sheet every month and just for that design on it. And yeah, he was always so cool and very accommodating and yeah, just a legend. But apparently he's got a, what do you call it? He's got a book with like a ledger of everyone of their history, when they started, where they were from, how we checked them out, that sort of stuff. Yeah, so yeah, really cool.
He's worth going in just to get tattooed, just to have a chat with, you know.
Man, yeah, it's a definite step back in time, man, and probably you know one of the last, the last real ones.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. I mean, you get a legit proper feeling, you know, when you go there. I remember Chad went there and got a ship on his ribs off him and was like blown away by him, you know.
Yeah,
just how legitimate it was, you know, like what a real experience it was. Yeah. All his own hand-painted flash there.
Mate, stand up on the wall and trace it, you know.
Yeah.
So what we'll do, mate, we've got about sort of 10 minutes to go. So
quick.
I know it does, man, it does. But, you know, there's always a chance of another one, mate. Who knows? So basically, I'll talk a little bit because we're of like a similar sort of age bracket, and we're sort of saying on the phone, like you're into your jiu-jitsu and stuff, and you know, I imagine that sort of helps with longevity of a career.
I think anything like that. I think like the tattoo industry, like we were saying, like you earn a little bit of disposable income, but you're very sedentary, you know, and maybe the lifestyle, you know, can get a little bit. I know it has for me before in the past or whatever. Like, if you can get a little bit self-indulgent, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of traps.
Yourself. Yeah. So I think it's you'd have, and the other also, I just think just for your own headspace, like it's good to do something else that maybe you're not real good at or whatever, just to keep you in line a little bit, you know, and realize that there's a whole other world, but you know, you can go somewhere else and no one gives a shit if you're a good tattooer or not, you know.
Totally.
Matter, you know, like you know, but also I think you got to keep fit and just look after your body. Tattooing's not good for your body, you know.
No, far from it. Like, it's like I got some younger guys working with me. They're in their late 20s and they're all complaining about bad backs and everything. And we've got nice massage tables and all the rest of it. And I'll come over and they'll be bent over like a crane. I go, mate, what are you doing? You know, come on. You know, even pump the chair up for them. And it's sad, but you know, you got to do it. Like for me, I was a little skinny rat for years and years. I probably didn't start doing exercise till I was maybe in my late 20s. And you know, by far, you know, I'm far from like an athlete or an Ironman, but I do regular stuff.
It doesn't matter,
and
man.
it like, definitely helps.
Yeah, I'm never going to be a world champion or anything like that, but it's just it's just I think you need to do it though, like because you can like, and it just kind of keeps you in check a little bit, maybe with your diet and whatnot, because it's real easy just to like sleep in, rock up late, and drink some coffees, and then not eat anything till fucking you finish work, and you just feel like shit all the time. You can really feel like shit all day, like being a tattooer. It's real easy to do. Well, Mark Lonsdale's just gone, thanks for taking me to see Johnny, mate. So I imagine that was you. I must have been. Yeah.
But mate, I worked with Mark for a while, and mate, he loved the cans of V, and I'm pretty sure he's off them now.
I hope so. That shit's bad.
Yeah. So what I've kind of been doing, I've been like, and if anyone's got any questions and wants to, now's the time to sort of unload. But I've got I've been ending up these segments with some sort of little favourite questions all sort of goes
Okay.
along. So, for example, what's your favourite drink? Could
My
be
favourite-
alcoholic, could be soft drink, whatever.
No,
Cup of tea.
Oh, I was born in England, so English breakfast tea.
Oh, mate, there you
I drink
go.
many cups a
Obviously,
day.
on its own, no milk, no sugar.
Oh no, I have a little bit of milk, a little bit of sugar. Yeah, yeah. I've had it
Nice.
actually like that since I was 2 years old. I still drink it. Yeah. The best. It's the best.
Well, Lonsdale just said he's practically straight edge. Well, Mark, that's good to hear, and good luck. Good luck with that. I'm sure you're on a herbal diet.
Lonsdale is. No, he's not.
Yeah. Then, like, what's it's a hard one, but what's like your favourite music or some of it?
It depends what I'm doing. Like, man, if I'm painting, I like stuff maybe that doesn't have a lot of vocals or whatever, and it just goes on. A little bit of Mahavishnu Orchestra or something that's just I can just
cool.
it's kind of there, and it's not too in my face. You know, you can just sort of zone out to it a little bit.
Yeah.
But it depends. You know, it depends what mood I'm in. Man, like like I've been into everything. You know?
Yeah, it's not your first rodeo anymore. So, Andrew's just commented and he said, Yorkshire proper strong.
Yeah, that's a Yorkshire tea. Like,
nice.
Yeah, we drink it at work, and it's the strong blend of Yorkshire brand tea, and it says proper strong on the.
Oh,
on
right, nice. All right, then what's your and this is probably a shout out to like local business. What's your favourite cafe?
And like just near work.
Probably or both,
Yellow,
work and home.
Yellow Bird, you know, it was like literally across the road. It's you know, if I have a drink, that's where I'm going to go and have a little nip before to work and whatnot.
Cool.
But you know, try not to do that too much. Can't handle it. I'm not
well. Next one can be, or what was your favourite bar?
Well, that would be it too. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Sweet.
Yeah.
All right, and maybe your favourite sport?
Oh, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, yeah, for sure.
Nice.
100%.
All right, cool. What about your favourite restaurant?
You know, there's a real nice little izakaya place just across the road called Bounty of the Sun. It's really nice.
Oh, cool. Good name.
Yeah. It's really good. Yeah,
nice. What's your go-to takeaway meal?
Just Rob said I heard that. Cocktail Bobby. Takeaway meal. Yeah, man, to be honest, I cook a lot at home. Like I really enjoy cooking, and it's you know, I like having barbecues here. I should mention probably Fancy Hanks is probably the best restaurant around. It's a good mate of mine's.
Yeah, but, cool.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. So Ethan's asked, how long have you been rolling for?
I started in 2007 or 8, but like I've had a lot of breaks, you know, like and you know here and there, but I've probably taken it more seriously over the last few years than ever, you know.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
and Lonsdale's asked, what's your favourite PlayStation game?
Well, we've been with the guys from work with Nick Crampton and Jake the Apprentice and Joel. We've been playing COD over the lockdown. So at the moment, that's pretty good. But you know, there's a few. But they're the good ones because you know we can chat to each other like a bunch of dorks.
Mate, it's we're in the era of the rise of the nerd, man. It's nerd power taking over. It's good to see.
Okay. It's okay.
So I think we already worked out your favourite tattoo machines are direct drives. Which direct drives, if you don't mind us delving that deep?
That's fine. I've got a couple of Uncle Roy's or Roy Richardson's.
Yep.
But I recently got one off I forget his name. But it's called the Roto Pusher.
David Ramirez from Spain. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So, all right. What's your favourite country?
My favourite country?
Yeah.
Oh, Australia.
Yeah. What about your favourite country to visit, or would you like to visit?
Japan.
Nice.
I went there for the first time. That was crazy, you know. But I'm not a big traveller. But that was nice,
mate. That's all you need. That's the ultimate culture shock. That place. It's amazing.
But like so easy, you know.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yep. What's your favourite breed of cat?
Oh, you know this. Bengals. Dude,
All right.
your cats are so nice, huh? Is that like it's purebred?
Mine, yeah.
Yeah.
Georgie, I've had him maybe 12 years now.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Cool.
he's a beast. He's good. He was down there laying in his little fucking donut before. It's like, all right, mate, how you doing? Just looked at me and head back down.
Yeah.
Living the dream.
Mine's half tabby, but he's having a turf war at the moment, so it's getting a bit wild out there. There's a new cat in the area.
Oh yeah, mate, they're vicious things.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, this is the controversial question. What's your favourite vaccine?
Polio.
Nice. Well, it's tried and true. It's been proven. Yeah. All right. Your favourite tattoo artist? I know it's a hard one.
Fuck. Man.
Yeah. Well, let's just go with the Chapel crew.
Dude, it's, I couldn't even.
Yeah. It's a hard one. Who's your one of your favourite painters, whether it be like a graph artist or street art or that sort of thing?
So I'm not heaps. I don't know a lot about painting history and all that stuff. There's a really good American folk art called Horace Pippin.
Okay.
He was he was I guess they call him an outsider or whatever that. He was untrained. He came out of the army and did painting, but there's just something about his stuff because he had this really laborious kind of way of painting. You can just see each piece has so much work in it. It's beautiful. Him and William Hawkins is another one that's really good. But Horace Pippin, I've never seen any of his paintings in person. Because I've only seen photos of them, but there's just something about them that
cool.
I don't know what it is. But yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know a lot about paint. I like a lot of all the old religious iconography, and I also just like street signs, like the African shop stuff or restaurants. I quite like all that stuff, but I don't know a lot about art, proper art stuff. I'll be honest.
I think I think unless you've been to university or studied it or something like that, it's sort of it's we kind of get too fixated on tattooing for the majority of our life and study that sort of stuff.
I'm more into tattooing's been more of an influence than any painter.
It just popped into my head. There's a mad doco called The Bolton Forger, right? And it's about this family in Bolton in the UK. They just forged so many classic paintings and sold them through Sotheby's and all these big auction houses. And it was a mum and dad and a son combination. There's a doco on it on YouTube, and it was awesome. The son ended up going to prison for it, but it's just amazing how they managed to there was just the art world was so hungry at a certain point for finding these things that were hidden away, and the dad would write this bullshit story about it was handed down or he saw it in a thrift shop and all the rest of it. So
there's a really good, if you're interested, they're quite old. A guy just put me onto them recently, but Jarvis Cocker's done a series of I think they're on YouTube on outsider art, and that's really interesting. I think there's 6 or 8 of them or something. They're really really cool. It's just artists that aren't trained, and they're kind of all a little bit crazy, but they just do it because they want to do it, and that's a really good watch.
That's being a true artist, just expressing yourself.
So
we will just wind it up. What's the best way for people to contact you? Is it through the shop or your Instagram?
For tattooing or
for tattooing and then painting.
Through the shop. Otherwise, Instagram, just through me. I'm not real good at business. I don't. I can be quite terrible at. Sometimes I'm really good and will reply, but just Instagram is probably the best bet. Hit me a message and I'll try and get back.
Yeah, cool. Well, mate, I guess coming out of this lockdown for you guys is good, but you're kind of guys are all old pros at it now. So hopefully this is the last one for you, and you can just get back to normality.
I'm feeling for you at the moment,
we'll be right, mate. Like I was saying on the phone, Sydney and Melbourne have always had this bit of a rivalry, and it might be Sydney's turn to try and take the lead. Hopefully not, but we'll see. But mate, I really appreciate it.
Thanks heaps, man.
Anything you want to say before we wrap it up?
No, I think we've covered a lot of it. You know,
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah. It's been a good chat.
Been really good. All right, buddy. I'll wrap it up. I'll give you a call in about 10 minutes.
Unreal.
All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. It's been a real cool one, and we'll see you on Thursday night. I've got Alex Rusty of Lighthouse Tattoo. Thanks, guys.
See you, bro.